In this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to get started with Dataproc and Jupyter so you can actually run your scripts and your Spark jobs directly on Dataproc. So you don't have to just run it locally or run it on a VM. You can actually now scale horizontally by running your scripts and jobs on a cluster. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how we can do this. But before I start, I just want to thank you for checking out this video and for subscribing to our channel, because we really want to help you guys grow in the data science and machine learning space. We want to help you solve practical problems and therefore gain some real experience when it comes to data science and machine learning. So don't forget to click that subscribe button and like this video, because it would really help us reach a larger audience. All right, now let's get back to this. So the first thing that we need to do is actually run a script to create a cluster. And for that reason, I already have a video in which I'm going to put a link down below in the description for, and you can check exactly how you can run a script to create clusters automatically with all the arguments and requirements that you need. For example, installing Anaconda and Jupyter and other libraries by default. So make sure that you check out that video so that you know exactly how to do it. So we're going to use specifically that script. So let's run that. So what we need to do is run this. Let's see exactly what arguments we need. We're going to need to pass in the bucket name, the region, and the zone. So the bucket name, we're going to look in the Cloud Console. So I named the bucket where I have the installed script exactly like our project ID, so that it's a unique name. Okay, now we need to pass in the region. It is Europe West 2, and the zone to C. Okay, now depends where you created your bucket, but my bucket is created in Europe West, so therefore I'm passing in these arguments. Okay, so let's run this script and wait for the cluster to be created. So now it copied the install bash script, and now it's waiting for the cluster to be created. Let's see the actual script that is running. So you can see what we're doing. We're creating a Dataproc cluster with 2 workers, and the image version is 1.3 Ubuntu 18. So this is quite important because you need to, sometimes you might have some errors that appear when you run the create command for Dataproc. And you can check out a video that I created regarding this, because in that video I'm going to show you exactly how you can debug and you can trace everything that happened in the creation of the masters and the other nodes, okay, and the worker nodes. So make sure you check that video out as well, because it will save you a ton of time, right? In order to correct an issue that I had with a Dataproc cluster, it took me, I think, around 3 hours at one point to actually figure out what was happening. And the reason was that I was using an image that was new, and unfortunately it had some problems with Jupyter. And as soon as I just used a previous release from Ubuntu 18, that problem was solved. Okay, so make sure you check that video out as well, so you can see exactly how you can spot and debug these type of problems. So you see here I'm adding the optional components Anaconda and Jupyter, and also I'm passing the initialization action to install other libraries that I provided here, okay, in this install script. Let's check out the install script as well. So the install script is just a bash script in which you can pass in all of the software that you need, that you want to be added. For example, you can add pip and other libraries or whatever you want to add. You just add them in new lines here. And of course, here we use the upload, the copy command from gsutil to upload that file to the location, the bucket that we specify. So make sure that the bucket location is the same as the Dataproc cluster location. Okay, so we have the same zone and the same region so that this can work. Let's see if this was created. We're still waiting on the cluster creation operation. Until then, let's go and check it out, see what's happening. Okay, so cluster 1 is being created now, it's provisioning, so we just have to wait for a little bit. We can also check the VM instances. So we see we have the master and we have the workers. We can SSH into the master, of course, and then we can also check web interfaces. So we have Jupyter and Jupyter Lab. Now, while we wait for this cluster to be created, what we can do, we can go ahead and copy some data to our bucket. And if we check here, you can see that we also have the Dataproc buckets, but where we will copy our files is going to be here in our API project bucket. So let's go ahead and create a new tab. So we can use the gsutil cp, and we're going to pass in the R argument here so that we can copy a full folder. So I'm going to copy this folder. Let me just copy the path. This is on my computer. You can choose any data that you want from your computer. Okay, and then we're going to just specify GS and then the bucket name. All right, so our bucket is this one, is the same name as our project. Let's go ahead, pass this one in, and it started copying. All right, so our cluster is being created and the data is being copied as well. We're going to be actually using this file here, synthetic financial data, so it should be ready in a very short time. Let's go to our cluster. And check to see how things are going. Let's see if the VM instances have been created. Okay, so we have our cluster master. So let's actually SSH into it to see if the connectivity is okay. So in order to do that, it's pretty straightforward. Let's go to the terminal and then let's open another tab. And here we can just use this command, compute SSH. We specify the cluster name, the project, and the zone. Connect. Perfect. So you see, we are connected to the cluster. So there is no connectivity issue, works out perfectly. I logged out. Now our cluster has been created and it's up and running. So what we can do now, we can just go to our web interfaces tab and then go to Jupyter Lab. Let's click here. And there you go. We managed to access Jupyter Lab in our cluster. So let's create a new PySpark notebook. Actually, we cannot create it here. We need to go to our local disk and then go to home and then in our user here, and let's just create a new folder. Let's say notebooks. Let's go there, and now we can create a new PySpark notebook. Okay, let's wait for it to start because it's still running, as you can see. Let's import PySpark so we can see that we have PySpark. It's going to run as soon as the notebook is set up. As you can see, our PySpark is imported. Actually, let's from PySpark SQL import Spark session. Spark session, builder, get or create. So now we have our Spark session. You can see it's version 2.3.4. So now the next thing that we can do, we can just specify the location that we want to read from. It's going to be GS. And let's go to see exactly where the data is. It's in this project, data, synthetic financial data. We can just copy this. Okay, so now Spark data frame equals Spark read CSV, and then we're going to put file, infer schema true, and header true. If we check, let's say the first 5. There you go, you see our data is loaded from the Google Storage bucket. You see how easy it actually is to just create a Dataproc cluster and then just use it with Jupyter Lab and then run your code directly on Jupyter Lab so you can take advantage of this. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.